Well, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? It's been too long since I've recorded anything. Um, yeah, it's February the 15th, I think. Let's go with that. I have to go down to Lafayette for a baseball meeting today because our one locally was booked on a day where I was busy. So that's par for the course around here. So let's go ahead really quick on my way down there and do the budget stuff. Now, just kind of highlights. My budget is, it's a matter of let I'll look at it. My total budget ends up being right about $5,500. In a hotel for two people, I've got it down as being about $700 to $7,200. And to do it on the cheap, if you're going to tenant and you already own everything, you could do it by yourself for probably about $2,200. And a couple, I'm thinking probably $3,000 is a realistic budget. 3,500 at the high end. Going over really quick, current fuel costs. Regular gas right now nationally is about $2.90 a gallon. Premiums at $3.86 and diesel is at $3.68. That's about where we're at locally. I mean, I'm driving by a gas station, regular $2.85, diesel $3.99, but diesel in this area is always a little bit more expensive. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. Last year during the rally, regular $3.14, premium $4.05, and diesel about $3.80. I mean, I was lower than that. I think my average fuel cost is probably around $3.50, $3.60 a gallon for diesel. And if you're vibrating, I apologize. Currently, pass-wise, at the chip, $294 gets you the 7-day pass, and there's sales tax and everything else on top of that. In addition, the 9-day, which goes from Saturday the 8th, I think, to Sunday the 16th, is $345, and the 2-week pass, it starts on the Monday, which I think is the 3rd, and goes to 2 full weeks. Excuse me, is $408. Yet again, tax on top and some other stuff. RV site wise in the South 40 right now, if you're looking for that, back in spite, you're at $765, and for a pull through, you're at about $1,550. Glencoe is actually, I looked yesterday, Glencoe is actually more expensive. Glencoe for 2 weeks of access, you're at $410. So, I mean, it's close, but it's a little bit more, which is kind of surprising. RV site, you're looking $900 for a 30 amp site and $1,100 if you want a 50 amp. The Pappy Hoyle, you're looking at $450, and that goes from Thursday the 7th to or the 6th rather, I think, to the 16th. And like I said, $450. RV sites are starting at $625 with full hookup, power, water, sewer. There's other campgrounds you can look at should you be so inclined. I think you're sliding a little bit. Steel Pony. I didn't really look at any of these. Steel Pony, kickstands, Ride and Rest, Lazy Days. There's so many. I mean, you look on their websites. I might put links to a few in the description, but like I said, Chip, Glencoe, Pappy Hoyle, and Lamphere are probably the big four that people think of when they think of rally campgrounds. So getting back to my particular budget, I'm going to be pulling my camper again with my diesel F-250, which is actually right now at my neighbor's place, waiting on a couple last-minute parts that wasn't sure we were going to need to pull the lift off until He looked at it and says, "Oh yeah, it does have a drop bracket on the track bar, so you need to get a new one of those." And unfortunately, yeah, Ford doesn't make it for the anymore for the '05 to '07, so you have to go, on eBay, and because of that, eBay knows they got you bent over a barrel. They take advantage of it. It's weird. '04 to '04 to 99 to '04 uses one bracket, which you could find. '08 to 22, I think, uses a bracket, the same bracket, and then '05 to '07 was its own animal because why not? Um, so I'm actually just waiting to hear back from them to make sure. Hey, were you going to get that, or do I need to get it? So hopefully I hear back from them later today. And if I need to order it, I'd get on eBay and take care of that. So my plan fuel price is 4.25, just because I like to pad just in case fuel spikes a little bit, or there's a detour involved, or whatever headwinds. I plan at 10 miles a gallon. It's a 2,200-mile round trip, meaning welcome to math class. That's 220 gallons of diesel, and at 4.25 an hour a gallon means I'm looking at right around $930 for diesel. I'm staying at the South 40 at the Chip again. My total bill all in for my pass, my RV site, pump outs, and the insurance should something happen where I wouldn't be able to go, was right at about $1,650. So there you go there. I have a budget for food and drink is about $1,500. That's for the 2 weeks or so that I'll be gone. I won't spend anywhere near that much. In fact, if I spent... Whoa, what the hell happened there? Oh boy, ended up on his roof. That poor guy. You don't see a truck that rolls over. I don't know if you can see that over there in the other lanes, but yeah, he literally stopped on the roof of that thing. That's a rollover you don't see. Normally end up on their side. So yeah, 1,500. Like I said, that's a budget of about $100 a day. I don't think I'll be anywhere near that much. I'll probably be closer to around 50 to 60 most days. Yeah, there'll be exceptions. Like if I go to, for example, if I go to the one in Keystone, Powder House Lodge. If I go to the Powder House, yeah, it'll be more expensive because, that'll be a $50 meal for a prime rib and maybe a cocktail and other things. I had an extra $500 in there for something cool for the bike from one of the vendors. I'm not sure yet, but I probably will get do a suspension upgrade on the bike, either forks or rear monoshock or both. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Groceries and booze for the rig. I got $250 on here. It won't be that much. It'll probably be, $100 of groceries and maybe, a case of beer and a bottle of bourbon or something. So be less than that. Camping on the way up. My plan as of this point is to leave out on July the 31st, which is that Friday before the rally starts. And from there, I will stay at the Grand Falls Casino for probably 3 nights. Probably. But stay there Friday night, Saturday, Sunday night, roll out, Monday morning at like 6, and basically just hot-footed over to the Chip. It'll be $50 a night, so that's why it's planned. I got $200 there, and it gives me another $50 for if I decide to stop somewhere on the way back at a campground, or, like I said, I might do like I did last year, where I just pull into a Walmart and just run the generator and boondock. That's possible too. So that's pretty much everything I've got on there. Like I said, a total I got down is like at $5,560. Yet again, my anticipation is right around $5,000. Um, that can change, of course. Fuel goes up or down and whatever. Yeah. So, but that's my budget. If you're going to hotel it, the problem is if you're going to hotel it, especially if you're going to stay the full length of the rally, you're looking at, let's call it $400 a night for a Super 8 in Rapid, which is probably what you're looking at. I thought I saw at the beginning of January you were looking at about 3 and change at Super 8 and Motel 6 in Rapid. Sturgis proper, I don't know if I'd even look at. If you're looking to hotel it, I would be looking at either Rapid or Spearfish would probably be your best bet at this point, being middle of February. The fact that you're going to take your bike riding there, yeah, that does help a little bit because I'm spending $900 in fuel, and if you're coming from about my distance, means at let's call it 30 miles to the gallon on 21, just to make math easy. That means you need 70 gallons of gas at premium. Let's call it $4 a gallon. Means you're spending about let's call it just shy of $300. Yeah, you're saving about $600 on me for fuel to get up there and back. But at the same time, I'm spending $1,600 for my accommodations, and you're going to spend close to $4,000. So yeah, food and drink and everything else is going to be about the same no matter where you stay. You might get a little lucky at staying at some hotels where they might have free breakfast in the morning, but even still, my normal breakfast isn't going to be more than $20. Be it at Golden Corral or the school or a few of the other places that have fundraising buffets in the mornings. Yeah, I won't spend more than $20 on breakfast the majority of days. Now, to close it out, if you were going to try to do Sturgis on the cheap, yes, Sturgis can be done on the cheap. There are people out there that do the whole rally once they get there for in the neighborhood of about $1,000 to $1,200. That's by knowing where there's cheap eats like American Legion halls and free food here and there. Like I'll give you an example. At the Chip, every morning in the front there's a free pancake breakfast. Even if they ask for a donation, which I believe they normally do, for $5 you've had breakfast and coffee. Pancakes and coffee for breakfast, and you roll out. Okay, that's let's call it $10 a day cheaper than I'm going to spend. Yet again, roughly $300 of fuel to get to Sturgis. The $400 for the 2-week pass at the Chip, that's your tenting. If you own the gear and are okay with tenting, there's no additional fee to tent. You're straight for $400. In addition, if you stay at the Chip, you have all the concerts they have there. I'll go over who's been announced so far in a second, and I know I'm going to miss somebody. They just announced Collective Soul, I think, and they got another announcement coming next week. Now that we're into February, we're going to start seeing the headliners and probably the secondary acts announced pretty rapidly. So yeah, food and drink, it can be done even at a reasonable budget. I would say if you wanted to do it on the cheap, including McDonald's or stuff like that, you could eat for $50 a day. It can be done for $40 to $50 a day. I think a couple years ago when I did my video for budget, Neil DeWitt mentioned that the American Legion in Piedmont, South Dakota, has their kitchen open, and their bar is normally open too, and it's relatively cheap. I want to say he said that 2 years ago, with dessert, a dinner would be like right around $15 with a non-alcoholic drink and dessert. Um, so yeah, I mean that's an option should you want to go that route. So like I said, a grand definitely if you're going to stay the full 2 weeks of the rally is possible. Um, and like I said, if you really wanted to do it on the cheap, you could probably do it for $500 to $600. I see motorcycles out. It's going to be damn near 60 degrees today, and I left a little bit early. I kind of wish I would have brought the motorcycle, but I wasn't sure, and it's a long drive. It's 70 miles, and I don't know if I wanted to. Um, yeah, I don't know what happened there. The camera just shut off, and it had an SD image for some reason. I don't know why, but I hope it didn't delete it. If it did, I'll have to redo this again, which sucks, but whatever. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the Lafayette guys actually have their bikes there. Because, yeah, it's going to be 55 up by us, and they'll probably be pushing 60 down there because they're normally about 3 to 5 degrees warmer than us down in Lafayette. But finishing up the whole on the cheap, $500 a day for food if you want to do it completely on the cheap. Total budget, I would say $2,000 is definitely doable. Um, like I said, $300 in fuel to get 1,000 miles away to Sturgis. Let's call it $400 in gas during the rally, $400 for the chip if you're going to stay there, and then let's call it $600 in food and drink, which I think is a reasonable if you're going to try to do things completely on the cheap. Oh, now I'm going to try to do math. So that's 1,800, let's call it, to do it completely on the cheap for a single. And a couple, I figure you add another 400 for that, and you double the food budget. You're probably looking roughly three grand for a couple to do it, tenning. So concert-wise, like I said, so far, I know I'm going to forget some because I'm not looking at my phone right now. Lainey Wilson's the big get. Skinner's coming back. I know I'm forgetting one. And then Collective Soul was just announced. I know I'm forgetting one. If you're a fan of who it was, I apologize. I just cannot remember who the first playing band is. I haven't seen anything yet regarding if the bare knuckle fighting thing is coming back or any sort of an MMA card is coming back again this year or not. But anyway, I'm like 100. I think I'm under 24 weeks from leaving, so like 165 days from leaving. I think it's 165. Leaving out, I'll leave probably, if I do leave Friday, July the 31st, I'll leave out probably 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. Try to make sure I'm through the city no later than about 3:30. And then from downtown Chicago, I have the option, do I go up through Milwaukee and avoid all the tolls, which adds like 15 miles, or do I go through Rockford, which adds like, I want to say like $20, $25 in tolls. I don't know yet. A lot's going to depend on what the construction situation is at that point, both around Hillside, which is where interstates 290, 294, and 88 kind of all meet in a triangle from hell. Um, and then also that would affect me going through Rockford, and then also what's going on with traffic, traffic around Milwaukee, um, or construction in and around the Milwaukee area. Because either way, in Madison you meet back up, so it's not really that big a deal one way or the other. Um, and basically try to make sure I'm in Onalaska, Wisconsin at Woodman's Market to get some alcohol, some beer, and also groceries. About 7:15, 7:30. The liquor department opens at 8, so that's kind of the goal, is get there early enough to get done with the groceries. Uh, Depending on time frame, maybe run back out to the rig, load the groceries up, check on the bike. If I need to reset the bike, so be it. If not, chill for 5 minutes, then run back into the liquor department, grab me a case of Liney's, and then roll up, try to get across Minnesota. And let's call it, I want to say I-90 across Minnesota is like 280 miles. I might be wrong, but I thought it was like 280. So essentially, hoping I can cover that 280 in roughly 5.5 hours. My plan is always to kind of initially plan at like a 50 mile an hour total average, knowing that I'm going to be running 65 to 67 driving, and you're going to have fuel stops. I'll have probably 2 going across Minnesota, one in probably around Albert Lee, and then another one in, say, one of the last towns, more than likely, in Minnesota. The exception, if the weather looks like it's going to be crappy one day in Larchmont at Grand Falls, I will probably plan on unhooking the truck from the trailer. That way I can, if I need to go somewhere, I can, and I'll just rehook Sunday night so that first thing Monday morning I can relieve. Sunday morning I'll probably run to, if the weather looks like it's going to be crappy Sunday morning, I'll probably run over to Brandon, which tends to be, I think, your cheap fuel spot. It's not that far away. And probably also hit Walmart if I need anything Sunday morning. But the plan is, if I'm going to spend 3 days there, I'm going to unhook the truck from the trailer, or unload the bike, have a couple days riding, possibly go as far south as, say, Sioux City, possibly run all the way up into North Dakota one day too. I don't know. Yet again, I mean, we're 5.5 months away. Who knows what the weather's going to be like? So can't plan on it, so I'm not going to. But anyway, guys, yeah, like I said, the rally is now 5.5 months away. We've got 4 more videos to do on this. We'll have rides, food and drink, vendors, things not to do that'll totally wreck your Sturgis experience. Basically, number 1 on that list is getting a DUI. Kind of a spoiler alert. But how do you stay? Where are you staying? Drop it in the comments. If I haven't seen the Professional Monkey start his Sturgis series, my guess is he'll start his probably just after Bike Week in Daytona. That's kind of why I started doing this. I was a fan of his, and it's like, you know what? If that professional monkey can do it, well, this amateur asshole can do it. So yeah, in any way, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'd appreciate it. Um, Yet again, like I said, I'm staying back at the Chip next year in the South 40. I might put a short or something or a post, a community post, saying, well, I'm in row blah. Um, and I might set up now. If the monk does a meetup, let's say like he did the last couple of years, the first night concert. Um, if the monk does a meetup at the first night's concert, I will probably be there for that. I forget who's playing, if it's even been announced yet. I might put a subtitle of that, but anyway, you guys be safe. If you're able to get your bikes out, I envy you. Keep that shiny side up, keep that greasy side down. I might get mine out this afternoon, depending on what time I get home. Love you a lot. Lots of respect. Bye.